Welcome back to D&T in the 773. My name is Tyler. I'm joined alongside.
Daniel, how's it going? Good to
What's
be
up, man?
back.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been a few weeks, a few week break, but you know what? We deserved it. We watched a lot of
Yeah.
football. We watched some preseason games, man. It's good to be back.
Yeah, there's a little bit of break in the football action after we kind of discussed. Obviously, the last time we were with you guys, we discussed the NFL draft, how that went down with the Bears. Obviously, we were really excited about that, and then we let training camp play out. There's really nothing to talk about with training camp. Obviously, we've been seeing all the big plays on Twitter. Caleb throwing to DJ Moore in the end zone. Keenan, other stuff like that. But we're super excited that football season is finally here. It is this week. We have a game on tonight.
This
Chiefs
week,
Raven. Very excited by that. It's
yeah.
just it's
One day we'll
we're-
look
it's,
back at this. We'll look back at this and be like, oh my God, today was the day, first day at the start of the 2024 season. Dude, what? How the time flew by. I mean, it feels like we're just at the draft, right? The draft party at Soldier Field, and now here we are with all the assets that we got, right?
Yeah, talk about all our picks. So all the different unsigned free agents the Bears picked up.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's finally here. The Ravens and Chiefs tonight. But obviously, that's very important. But most importantly, we're going to talk about and discuss the Bears with you guys today. It's Bears football on Sunday at noon, kickoff on our home grass at Soldier Field against the Tennessee Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be a great kickoff. We have obviously a whole new roster. We talked about that before with Caleb under center, new receivers on there, new defensive pieces as well. And it's gonna be a great game. And
Yeah,
I'll be
some
with
new
you
guys,
on
some
Sunday.
young guys.
Yeah, I'll be with you on Sunday. We're gonna be watching the game together. We're gonna have some buddies over as well watching the game. And
trust me, I would not miss it. I think you told me this plan 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, you're telling me, hey, my place, Sunday, 12 o'clock, Bears game. And we watched every Bears game at your place since, right? All the preseason games. But yeah, you've been waiting for this for a while, man. We're stoked. Oh my gosh, we waited too long. But yeah, a lot of young new faces, obviously, for the Bears here. And I'm not going to say that this win, I want to call it a win versus the Titans, is going to be easy because I think both teams have enough veterans and enough young players and a presence to help lead either side to a pretty good game. So I'm really excited. I think it's a great week one matchup. I think for all the teams in the NFL, I think this is a good game, but also there's enough of an advantage from us to help us out, maybe get that win.
I know for all the Bears fans out there that they're saying that the Bears are going to destroy the Titans by 40, which I hope they do. We got to remember the Titans defensive line has a lot of key pieces. Jeffrey Simmons on there. We just saw probably a video yesterday. I believe that was yesterday, saying how, he's like bad talking Caleb about, him painting his nails and stuff like that. But we'll see who has the last laugh in the end. Hopefully the Bears do, because, I know a lot of Bears fans are like, yeah, like we should, with the spread at 4, the Bears favored by 4, we should take this win. But FanDuel, all these sports books and stuff like that, think this is going to be a pretty close game. So, and obviously it's a brand new roster. It's a brand new quarterback under center. We just got to, let the first game play out and see how this squad plays. And we're really excited to see how this squad plays.
We keep the expectations low, right?
Yeah.
As a Bears fan, week one, we've learned to keep expectations low, but I will say I'm a little bit higher this year than any other year, just because I'm still excited. I just want to see some sort of production, you know?
Yeah, I agree. So obviously, we didn't talk about preseason, but the Bears did go 4-0 in the preseason. We did have that extra game at the beginning of the week, the week before with the Hall of Fame game. They did not play any of their starters. They let the backups ride with Austin Reed, Brett Rippon, Tyson Bagent, under center. And then they had the 3 games we had against the Chiefs, the Bengals, and I can't think of the third team right now.
The Chiefs, Bengals, and
oh yikes, we didn't do our research.
We did not do our research.
That's all right. But anyway, we got 3 wins.
It's just slipping my mind. Yeah.
So anyway,
Bills, right? Bills.
Was it the Bills? Yeah, it was the Bills. You're right.
Right?
Yeah. It was Bills in Buffalo. That was week 1.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we did go 4-0 in preseason play, which is amazing, seeing for Bears fans. We didn't go 0-4. We went 4-0. The backup quarterback said, well, when Caleb played, he did do well. He did have that one struggle at home against the Bengals and basically the first half. Almost to the first half, it was about one quarter and about a half. And I know we were watching the game together, and I said, keep him in. We need him to learn from these mistakes.
How lucky were we? They took him out for 4 more drives after that. And so that was a bit of a change of pace because we heard all week how well they were playing against them in practice against the Bengals. And I was very excited, but I also needed to see Caleb in a position of doubt and him not living up to the full potential just yet. He's still a rookie. He's still going to have ups and downs. So I think I needed to see that, but I'm glad that Flus was out there talking to him, telling him, we're going to give you 2 more tries at it. Like try to take it downfield, try to get a score. And they did. That's all I needed to see. He scored. That's all I needed to see.
It's what they needed to do, and they did it. And Caleb, finished the first half really strong in that game, and he had a great preseason. With the opportunities he had, he did, like we talked about, he did have a little bit of downfalls, but he did rise to the occasion when he needed to, and that's what we are asking with Bears fans out of Caleb. So, yeah, so kind of it's wrapping up the preseason. We're not going to go into it too far because it was weeks ago, and we're here this week with regular season action, and that's what we're looking forward to. So, real quick, obviously, the Bears did have the opportunity this year to get selected to be, represent Hard Knocks for the training camp edition. And I was texting you, you were texting me. I know, obviously, you said you were watching with your girlfriend. I was watching with my girlfriend as well. You actually bought me this shirt, which is
that's really sweet.
Cool. Yeah, we got the city in there and everything like that. But so let's talk about Hard Knocks real quick. So, it was super cool seeing, the Bears being selected for Hard Knocks because we get, obviously Caleb, new quarterback, other new pieces on the roster. It's just really cool what HBO does with their, NFL films. They do an amazing job. They did an amazing job, last season with the Jets. I watched that because, it was kind of intriguing with a lot of new pieces with Aaron Rodgers. I did watch that. Unfortunate situation what happened to him at the beginning of the season, but Bears got to do it this year for the training camp, and it was everything that Bears fans asked for. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was exciting. And I'm glad it happened this year because we also got so many new pieces last season. And it finally gave us an opportunity to kind of dive into a lot of these new pieces we had. I thought I knew Ryan Poles, right? I thought I knew Coach Flus.
Yeah.
I thought I knew him on a personal level from just seeing them every single Sunday for 3 years straight. But it just gave me a new page to look at on terms of what is their job and how hard are they working. And that part was just incredible, right? Just getting to know these players and coaches a little bit better.
Yeah, so obviously every Tuesday night for the last 4 weeks, we tuned in at 8 o'clock, except for that 1 week where it just didn't.
Yeah, it was a bit late. I remember texting you every 5 minutes. I'm like, is it up yet? Is it up yet? Is it up yet? Nope.
Yeah, I was on Twitter every 2 seconds. My girlfriend was with me. She's like, "Is it up yet?" I'm like, "Oh, Twitter's still mad. Twitter's still mad." I think it took an hour and 15 or 20 minutes for that to finally upload. But obviously, I was on top of it. We launched it right away, and it was just the episodes were amazing. Like I said before, it was 5 episodes, 5 weeks of action, starting with the Hall of Fame game, going all the way to the last week of preseason. They discussed a lot of things in Hard Knocks, just like any other team with the different Hard Knocks, discussed, the different players added to the team. They discussed all a bunch of unsigned free agents. And then, toward the end of the Hard Knocks, they had to, dive into, it's hard to shrink a roster from 90 men down to 53.
We finally got an inside look at how that works, right? We could all guess how hard that position battles and coaching might be, but that was incredible to watch. And there's a lot of good names out there. I will say that did get cut by the team, and we'll get into those kind of names sort of later. But it's just so many highlights. Yeah. Every episode had such a tremendous highlights in there that I just couldn't wait to watch football. I couldn't wait to watch this Bears team.
I agree. Yeah. So. We'll dive a little bit into the Hard Knocks. We're going to kind of discuss what our favorite features in the Hard Knocks, where, they talked about all these different things. Starting with me, I think my favorite feature that the Bears did is, the different dives into the players' families. I really like that a lot. This year, the Bears on the offseason signed Jonathan Owens, who was previously on the Packers, defensive player. And Jonathan Owens, if you guys don't know, is married to Simone Biles, who did have a crazy summer because she got to compete at the Paris Olympics. And it was super cool seeing the whole behind the scenes of him, packing, waiting to go to Paris, waiting to get in the airport, finally made it to Paris, supporting his wife in the stands. It was super cool. And I know my girlfriend Cammy was that was her favorite part about Hard Knocks was, talking about, she was just really excited about that. And, that's with the whole, Chiefs with, Taylor Swift. That's why a lot of the girls, but it's just, any of the social, people that can kind of bring it into football, will get people a little bit more, exposure to that.
Exactly. The fan, being a fan of Chicago, being the most decorated Olympic
Mhm.
gymnast in U.S. history. Like that's a big deal for having a fan of Chicago. Like that's we're not going to compare levels of Taylor Swift and stuff like that, but I
No,
think
yeah,
that's still a
yeah,
big deal because showing that in Hard Knocks, especially a lot of people were interested that weren't Bears fans, right? And so now they're kind of getting on the hype train a little bit, seeing that someone with so much like just it's world known, right? Her talent and the
yeah.
fact that they're looking here at being like she's on Hard Knocks, she's a fan of Chicago. She did wear the Green Bay Packer jacket to the Bears game, but you know what? I'll let that go. I'll let that go. I did
I
not care.
think
I did not
I
care.
think
So
was it Kyle Juszczyk's wife is already working on a Bears edition of that
yeah,
too,
good.
because that's what I was reading. Everyone on Twitter is like, get this guy another, or get, I'm sorry, yeah, get this guy a jacket for her to get on. That's a
Mm-hmm.
bear, all Bears and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
another just real quick key feature with the families that I really liked was the addition they had with DJ Moore and him bringing his family to the Museum of Ice Cream, which was super cool. His kids are they have a lot of energy, and he seems like he fits obviously in Chicago so well because he
Mm-hmm.
got that 4-year extension that pulls. Thank God he did that early enough because of the whole wide receiver jazz going on with Jamar Chase right now and all these other different receivers, but we're not going to discuss that. But it's just super cool, with DJ Moore and obviously talking about Jonathan Owens, all the different families we got to
Mm-hmm.
see. Adrian Colbert and like his story about he got into a bike accident. And, he uses like mental health as to like kind of calm him down and be part of the part of the moment. It was super cool.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, I don't know if you mentioned this before, but DJ Moore, highest paid player in Bears history.
Yeah,
How incredible is that? And the fact that we got to witness that in a documentary style, like I'm really stoked that we got to watch that because he is such a humble dude. Like the
yeah,
more you watch and the more you see the way he raises his family, the way his family loves him, like it's just such an incredible guy. And I'm so thankful to have him on this team.
yeah,
And I'm also thankful he's a wide receiver because how many great wide receivers have we seen, have we watched in our lifetime? I could probably name like three, right? Being 25 years old, I can only name three, and we have three of the best ones right now. DJ Moore being one of them. So that was really incredible to see.
yeah,
I do have to agree with that. I think seeing the whole family dynamic and everything was really awesome. But my favorite part was also another part of the family, right? The Bears family is seeing the front office, seeing the way the front office operates. Now, that's a normal thing that happens in Hard Knocks. Like they always have to dive into the front office. They look at the GM, the owners, and everyone together, like just seeing the way they operate. But this was different because Ryan Poles, he gets so much love. Like no matter who it is on social media for how good of a job he's done so far. So I wanted to get to know him, get to know what his office looks like, what's in his office, who's in his office, what is he wearing, what's his comfortable outfit, right? And you looked at his office, he's got a bunch of the footballs of games that he's won in his first season there, and then
mm,
he has other things like he's got a putting area, he's got his golf clubs and stuff. So getting to know him personally on that level, it just makes me realize how human he is, and not just with him, like with Coach Flus, a couple other names here. I was just really impressed with these individuals, like Chad Martin, the running back coach, like the way that he drives people, right? He's kind of rude. He's kind of a mean guy, but I think in a football coach for running backs, seeing how all those players, Velus Jones Jr., like worked with him to become a
yeah,
better player, and he was so
hmm
proud of them at the end. Eric Washington, like the defensive coordinator, and like obviously Ryan Poles and Flus, like all these guys, seeing them in the way that they work, their work ethic, which is incredible because they preach family. Like their biggest
hmm
identity is the idea that this Bears team is a family, and they're trying to work together to get something, better than what they are, which is a Super Bowl. So it was just really cool. And I'm really impressed with the coaching staff that this team has built and getting to, meet them. I haven't met them personally, but you get to know the kind of player they are
yeah.
at work, right? And so that was awesome, really awesome to see.
And a lot of people could say that Chad Morin is, a little bit of a harsher guy, but he just wants his players to succeed. I know, obviously, it seemed like when I was watching it, he was kind of picking on Ian Wheeler a lot. But Ian Wheeler is a rookie, and he's like, you got to take advantage of this moment.
Mm-hmm.
But he had the opportunity to go into med school and stuff like that, and he's like, he delayed it to become a running back because that was one of his dreams. And he, it's super cool that I see Chad Morin's like wants these players to succeed. And it's cool that, obviously, Ian Wheeler, his situation, that was obviously very unfortunate, the ending to that, because, he did tear his ACL, but it is very cool that Ryan Poles decided we're going to keep you around. We're going to stick you to the practice squad because we do believe in you. And we hope that, you can, come back to the roster next year, which is a big move by Ryan Poles. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said before, he is a he's an emotional guy. He likes to, have connection with his players. He's not like just a general manager, like, oh, this is just another player on our team, whatever. He, obviously with that last episode, seeing him, part ways with some of the players and tell them, we're gonna have to, let you go today. He got emotional with Adrian Colbert being, released, and it's cool seeing, obviously all the different parts, to the the Bears roster, Shane Waldron, the offensive, talking to them and getting connections built. And that's a part of it with coaches is, getting connections built with their players.
Very true.
So just a few more things. So I think another thing that was super fun, and I think this is like everyone's favorite part with the Hard Knocks, is the whole rookie showcase that they have to do in front of the whole entire team. Obviously, on Twitter, the one person that did take it away was Theo Benedict when he just started singing about God bless the USA, and he ripped off his had his bald eagle underwear on in front of everybody. And that was hilarious. I was laughing so hard on the couch.
I wonder if that got him a roster spot. I wonder if that got him a practice squad roster spot, dude. Like that performance alone, right?
But I think the best one that besides, I think there's another one I just thought of in my head was who was the one who performed Love Sosa in front of everybody? Who was that?
Dude, was that Wheeler? I think it was Wheeler.
Ian Wheeler?
Right?
It was Ian. Yeah, you're right. That was awesome because Chicago rapper come from here. But I thought the best person was Roma Dunze performing "Kiss Kiss" by Chris Brown. It's just he was like trying to hype everybody up, and he's like pointing at everybody and just smiling. He has a lot of energy, and that's why I'm so happy that Roma Dunze is on our team.
Yeah, that's so cool, right? Because then you see the panning shot of them going to all the players and everyone's singing with it. Like I always love DeMarcus Walker because he is such a big dude and like he definitely terrifies people when you look at him. But then while Roma Dunze was singing, he's there singing in the background too, dancing. Like that guy, like those people are just special, right? They have personality and they understand like good or bad music, whatever you want to call it. But it's just so interesting to see those panning shots of all the players who are singing and aren't singing. Jack Sanborn not singing, right? Like that's someone who's so straight face, like Stonehenge. Like that guy does not move a muscle. Like he's all business. So it's just really funny. Like those panning shots I really enjoyed. So I think a part that I really enjoyed was kind of what we touched upon earlier was like the practice squad players and them returning and who gets the job and who doesn't get the job. What I took away from that was the idea that people want to be in Chicago. The position is less important than the idea of being on the team. And you look at players and that's their job, right? They want to play football. They want to play quarterback. They want to make team for running back. So no matter what opportunities they have, they want to be a part of the team. And it's mainly what I think about Adrian Colbert, right? He said that he's been on 7 different teams in like 5 seasons, or it might have been the opposite. It might have been 5 seasons, 7 teams, whatever. But he said that being in Chicago was definitely the place where he wanted to be. Like that was the favorite destination he's ever had. And he was only here for 2 months, like practicing over the summer. Like it all could be a lie, right? It all could just be for TV and whatever you want to say. But that's, I think, a part that makes me the most proud about being from Chicago is seeing other people come and visit the practice fields and the coaches and the staff and all these people that are just so friendly, right? These people from the Midwest, like just in a random city, they're not even practicing in Chicago, just random individuals, and how important being in Chicago is for them. So that is something that I just really take to heart because that's awesome, right? I want to appreciate all those people that played in Chicago's past, in the future, or maybe trying out for the present. Those guys, they work really hard, and they match the Chicago culture, right?
Yeah, they obviously, coming to Chicago, the legacy with each of the different teams, Blackhawks winning, all in the 2010s. You got the Bulls in the 90s. You got, the 85 Bears. You have the White Sox 05, the Cubs in 2016. There's a lot of reputation in Chicago that, all these players are like, playing for Chicago. It's not like, one team I just kind of thought of like at the top of my head that I don't remember winning a lot of things except for, MLB Washington. I'm just that people don't think like they know Chicago is like the one of the teams that's like they really thrive for their sports. They really want every team to succeed, and though obviously we're some brutal fans sometimes. We're a little harsh on our teams.
And like we can talk about sports mecca, right? Like we've always had this conversation like Los Angeles, New York. I think New York is obviously a good option as well, but Chicago can be the sports mecca, right? I think it's been a long time probably the last 20 years of anything football, basketball related, but Chicago can be the mecca of sports. Like it's super easy. Like we just got to make a couple better teams,
Mhm. Yeah, so just to wrap up Hard Knocks, lastly, my favorite, another key aspect that I really enjoyed that it's super cool that, I feel like with the players, like they think it's a little weird having like, a microphone next to them the whole entire time, or like, a boom mic, like, obviously hanging above them, or a camera right in their face. But with those preseason games, it's really cool, like hearing, the interaction with the coaches and the players. And, obviously the game with the Bengals, we kind of saw Caleb struggle in the first half. And we got to see in the Hard Knocks that he actually had like a communication error in his helmet. He's like, I can't hear anything. They had to switch out his helmet after that. We didn't even hear that until the Hard Knocks episode.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't even reported on Twitter. Obviously, the reporters can't be like that close to the team, but it was cool, like hearing about that, that different story and stuff. And, the interaction we saw with Caleb and Rome when Rome accidentally stepped out of bounds on that nice throw by Caleb. And, it was cool that, Caleb's obviously, not bad talking to him, but he's like, just make sure you watch your foot and stuff. And Rome did take responsibility for that. I just love the different, interactions we get to see, especially in game with the players, coaches, stuff like that. And, especially the families in the stands. It's cool seeing, like, obviously we got to see DJ Moore's family when he's, got to do a big play. His kids were super happy. Mm-hmm. Austin Reed's parents, that
was my favorite. Yeah. So cool.
It's just, super cool. Obviously, he's a rookie and they're supporting his son. And they're, the one game he couldn't play because they had the delay with the Hall of Fame game. They had the rain delay that they couldn't resume. But he did get a lot of playing time and ended up getting the opportunity to re-sign to the practice squad, which is super cool. Brett Rippon did get signed by the Vikings in that 24-hour period afterwards. He probably would have been the practice squad quarterback if he got cleared in the 24 hours, but he got signed by Minnesota. So Austin Reed is now the practice squad quarterback, which would well deserved for him.
Well deserved. And that takes me on to my last topic, obviously, for what I thought was one of the most enjoyable parts of Hard Knocks is the QB room, right? Mm-hmm. I think when you sit here and you tell me that the Bears drafted the starting quarterback, right, with the first overall pick, the day after he got drafted, Flus said he was the starting quarterback. I, in my head, was thinking like, oh no, like Bagent looks kind of good. Like, what's going to happen if Bagent's good? And then like the Hall of Fame game came, and Rippon was ripping it. Like he was playing really well. And a lot of these familiar faces that I've seen last year that I really enjoyed watching are still back in the building. And so I think that just taught me how important it is to have good levels to your positions, right? Travis understands that Caleb needs his time. He needs his moment to shine. He did the same thing behind Justin. But Travis is one hell of a guy. Like, that guy can really play football. And so I'm just thankful that we have a really good position after him. And then you got to know people like Brett. You got to know people like Austin Reed. And I really respect Austin Reed, right? Because he's one of the first people I've ever seen, and that actually shows me truly how the quarterback position works, right? Unless you're a number 1 overall pick or somewhere in the top 10, like, you don't get a lot of playing time. Like, you don't really see the field, but that's still your profession. Like, you spent half your life crafting that profession for yourself. And so watching Austin Reed, I was really rooting for this guy. And I was really rooting for his parents too, because they remind me a lot of my parents and the way that they would, put a lot of pressure on me to succeed, but also the idea that like they're so proud of him no matter what they do. And so it was sad. Obviously, I don't want to ruin much about for the people that haven't finished Hard Knocks, but he did get a roster deal for the practice squad. So super excited for him. I think he's got such a great personality, and I think he's such a nice guy. But it just shows an inside look into what the quarterback position looks like in the NFL, and it's not always cookies and cream, right? It's a hard job. It's technically what people say the hardest job in America, like, is being a starting quarterback. So I would love to see him at one point get into that position. And just like they had those board meetings, right, we were talking about earlier with the front office, they had one scene where they're talking about Austin Reed where he has everything he needs to succeed, right? He's just a little bit delayed. He's a little bit older, but he has everything he needs to succeed. And I think that's a good show as to his character and how long it could take until we finally see him in maybe a backup role or even a starting role. Like, that would be an incredible sight to see. So I'm really rooting for the guy. And I think the QB room that we have in Chicago is really fun to watch. And I think those are a group of best friends, right? There's no hierarchy. There's no fighting. There's no anything like that. So that I love. That reminded me of just how important it is to like create friendships in the professions that you have.
Yeah, obviously, just the different relationships, like you said, with the quarterback room. They seem like they really, cared about each other. Tyson with Caleb, and Austin and Brett. They all like work together very well. And like I said before, it's really cool that Austin got that practice squad spot, and he'll get to learn behind everybody, and it'll be a fun season for him to get to learn, because
Hmm.
obviously rookie quarterback in him, he's a rookie, and he'll get to learn from the mistakes Caleb makes, if he makes any. Hopefully not, but
Exactly.
it'll, yeah.
Exactly. And so, Tyler, so I think we have to give it a rating, right? Do we? I mean, is it even
We do.
worth
We
it?
do gotta
Is
give
it
it a
even
rating.
worth it giving it a rating? We're two Bears fans
No.
sitting here watching a Bears TV show. Like, of course it's not going to be bad. So I'll go ahead and rate it first. I mean, obviously it's a 10 out of 10 in my book. I think it goes The Last Dance, Bears Hard Knocks, right? Like those are like my favorite documentaries of all time. So, and that's pretty cheesy to say, but I will say it's 10 out of 10. For fun, I'll give it an 18 out of 10 because, Caleb, give it a bear claw in case Caleb's watching. Hey Caleb. But yeah, I'll give it an 18 out of 10
Yeah.
just for fun. What about you, Ben?
I'm giving it a solid 10 out of 10 with you as well. It was just so cool, every week seeing what's new with Hard Knocks and what is going on with all these different players. Obviously, on Twitter, we got to see what was going on a little bit before the Hard Knocks. If they're not people that aren't Bears fans, some of them probably didn't know all the different things that were going on. But I love seeing the whole behind the scenes. It was a treat to get to see them, go travel downtown, seeing Cole Kmet throw out the first pitch at Wrigley. I was actually there working that game, which was super cool. I saw the whole Hard Knocks crew on the field,
Yeah.
holding the boom mic. The guy was holding like a 20-foot boom. It was so funny on the field. But I'm giving it a solid 10 out of 10. Like you said before, The Last Dance is just like one of the best documentaries I ever seen, but it is right below it. It was
Mm-hmm.
just so cool watching the Bears getting the special treatment to be the Hard Knocks. And for a fun level, I'm giving it a solid 35 out of 10. It was just great. I have to up you with that one.
Yeah, you adult me, right? Yeah, that makes sense. It's actually really funny to mention this. So I have a friend who worked on the Hard Knocks last year for the Detroit Lions, and
Oh,
she got
okay.
invited this year to work for the Bears. Her name's Megan. It would be awesome to ask her a few questions. So I think I'll try to
Yeah.
get her to answer a few questions about how it was working because she. Last year when she was working for the Detroit Lions, she kept asking me like, "Oh my gosh, like, what do you think of the Bears? What do you think of the Bears?" And I was always like, "Don't do Hard Knocks for the Bears. Don't do it. There's too much pressure. It's like the Bears don't do well with pressure.
Please,
But
no, stop. No.
yeah, don't do it. But this year, I was super excited about it, and now that I finished it, I can't wait to ask her a few questions on how it was working with all these players. And so that might be something we do for the next episode. I'll try to get a list of questions and see if she can send a voice recording of what she thought of it. So that'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be sweet. The behind the scenes look at all these, different, what the different jobs of the Hard Knocks do. That'd be super cool. So
And two NFC
cool.
teams.
Now
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So now the moment we're getting into, obviously, we love Hard Knocks. We loved it a lot. But you know what we love more? Week 1 football. Week 1 preview. Let's get this underway. So let's dive into this. Sunday at noon, we get the Bears taking on the Titans at Soldier Field. And it's the moment that Bears fans have been waiting for since it was announced, back in May with the starting, last year on our opening, we got to open up against the Packers. Bears fans were kind of like, oh, we could win the game. We could not. You never know. But it seems like with the Titans, I know I said before, like, obviously don't count them out, but it seems like with the Titans, if the Bears roster is like we know it, this could be a great time for, us to take over on our home grass and, show the fans what this Bears team is all about.
It's not an easy team, right?
Correct.
The team
Yeah,
they're not just one sided defensively or offensively. Like they've studs on both sides, but I think it's an easier team to project the first week, especially when we have a rookie quarterback, like a rookie wide receiver, a couple players on defense that are still trying to fit into the mold of this Eberflus defense. I think it's going to be an easy team to practice against, right? This entire week, what they've been spending practicing against, Will Levis type plays, DeAndre Hopkins. Like, I think it's going to be super simple. And let's just be thankful that Derrick Henry is not on that team anymore because I think that would make it a lot harder for this team. We did do, again, pretty well. I think we were top 5 in rush defense last year, but I think that, again, helps us center the pace a little bit, and knowing that Will Levis is going to have to throw. They paid Calvin Ridley a lot of money to be there. So I think it's an easier team to evaluate week 1 for a rookie. So I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I agree. The Bears are right now currently they are 4.5 point favorites over the Titans. So they're projecting a pretty close game with the Bears and Titans, which, I'm not shocked about. We don't know how this Bears roster is yet, during a regular season game with them out on the field. Don't know how this Titans roster is yet with, Calvin Ridley new to the team. Hopkins, they're saying he's probably going to suit up week one.
Mm-hmm.
They have new running backs now. They got Tony Pollard from the Dallas Cowboys. They have
Dave.
Spears, right?
Yeah, he was on
Yep.
the team last year, one of the
Yep.
rookies. Yeah, very surprising rookie, good player.
Mm-hmm. So they might split the backfield because Pollard didn't. Pollard was a great running back, but he didn't come out of Dallas like super strong last
Mhm.
season. So there's going to be a lot of energy on both sides with both teams. Will Levis is in his second year, Caleb's in his first year. It's just a lot for both sides, and everyone wants to win week one. Every team does. Nobody
Mhm.
obviously wants to lose, but every team wants to win week one.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So obviously, lots of new players on the Bears. Rome Odunze, Caleb. We got on the defensive side the new safety. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Oh my gosh,
Kevin Byard.
Byard. Yep. But it'll be fun to see how Caleb distributes the ball with Shane Waldron's new offense. Obviously, he's calling the offensive plays with the Bears. It's going to be super cool seeing what he kind of comes up with. Just no screen passes for 3 downs, please. That's all.
Please, no screen passes, please. That would be very, very cool. I'm very excited to see what Shane's offense looks like because we saw a little bit of it in the preseason, not a bunch, but I think we saw a lot of it with the backup quarterbacks. I think Caleb, they were kind of just letting him progress through what he felt comfortable with, but even Caleb made some really tough throws. So it was really exciting because Travis Bajan, like he really perfected what Shane was trying to put out there, and he was testing him a lot, and so it was
Tyson Bajan.
Yeah, they were just trying
Travis.
Travis, my bad. That's his dad, right? Is this father?
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce. That is insane. Like the way that he was slinging the ball, his preseason games was just incredible. They were taking a lot of deep shots, and I think we have a lot of deep shot players. Like I can't wait to see Tyler Scott. I think Tyler Scott's gonna be a really interesting player to look at. But I did want to mention this is gonna be an interesting point, Tyler. Rookie quarterbacks in the last 15 years. Can you guess how many wins they've had?
I see
the last 15 years, week one.
I see the stat here, but if I took a guess before seeing this, I would guess maybe 3 or 4, wins.
3 or 4 wins. So technically, there's 1 win, but it was a tie. So technically, let's call it 0. They are 0, 14, and 1 in the last 15 seasons. Rookie quarterbacks, week one. So I think that's another idea as to why the pressure this week one. We can't put it above Caleb for the punishment if he plays poorly, right? Because Will Levis had the same opportunity last year and he didn't play so well. So I think the idea of Will Levis being a second-year player, we have to give him some sort of more of an advantage, right? That he had a full offseason to work and a full season to work rather than Caleb just having one offseason.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting point, but I also, how funny would it be, or not funny, how awesome would it be to see Caleb change that number to 1-14-1 or 1-13-1 in the last 15 years? Like that would be super, super cool.
Let's rewrite history, Caleb.
Let's do it.
Obviously, that's what every Bears fan needs or wants, and that's what we. To be honest, I hate to use the word need, but that's kind of having the number 1 overall pick. That's what Bears fans are looking for. Is that week 1 win? Obviously, against the Titans, we're not playing a super big powerhouse like the Chiefs, like the Texans. It's the Titans, but obviously, like we said before, let's not count them out. Let's just watch this Bear roster unfold on Sunday. Let's hope Shane Waldron's offense, let's let that go to work. The defense with Eric Washington on defense, obviously they want to be a top 5 defense this year. That's what the Bears are looking for. Top 5 defense. They believe it. Even Caleb was like, this defense is just something that it's good. So hopefully, these, the coaches and the players, their words are going to, reflect on how it is. And I think they have we have a lot of hype on this team this year. We really do. Some, reporters have the Bears, potentially making the playoffs. Some reporters say, we're only going to stay at 5 wins, but we just, week 1 is very important for the Bears. And if we can come out slinging and we, get the rushing game going and maybe have a few interceptions, this could be an awesome week 1 for the Bears.
It could. Yeah. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting indeed. So I see the next portion of our podcast here is going to involve some numbers, right? We're going to play a numbers game here.
A little bit of numbers.
A little bit of what is it? Price is Right, huh? A little bit of Price is Right action.
A little Price is Right action. So obviously you guys know that on the different sports books, put all the different players, receivers, rushers. They do an over and under to see what they're projected to go, and we're going to play a little game. I'm going to, pop a few of these up we're going to stick to only Bears players, Bears podcast. I'm not going to start with the Titans, but we're going to go through different stats with, passing yards, receiving yards, rushing yards, and we're going to give our predictions on if these players are going to go over that number or under that number, and so, like maybe go a quick example why. So let's start with Caleb Williams passing yards. Just checked, it's at 242 and a half yards. You're saying under. You're giving the under. Explain why.
Unfortunately, I'm going to take the under. Unfortunately, I'm going to take the under. So, again, rookie quarterback, first game. I would be really impressed if he threw for over 250 yards. Like that's a good job. I'm guessing somewhere in the 190 to 210 range. I think that's what he plays. I don't think he throws as many passes as we think he's going to do. I think the Bears are really going to focus on running the ball this game. Again, they have a good defensive line, but I think Caleb, we just got to see a couple throws, right? We just got to see a couple throws. I think he has anywhere from like 13 to 20 throws. So, yeah, I'm going under, unfortunately, in this one.
Yeah, thinking about it before, I was going to say over. I think it's like right around that mark. I hope he gets at. I'm thinking it like maybe around 240, 250. I do think it might be a little bit under, but I'm always hoping for that over. Mm-hmm. But if I'm taking a guess, I'm just going to be a greedy Bears fan. I'm going to say over, and it'll be right around 250.
Okay.
That is going to be my guess.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, Caleb comes out slinging on his first game, has some big plays, hopefully big passes, What all you need is not all you need, but what if one pass is a 60-yard throw to DJ Moore? There you go. That's 60 yards in your pass.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
You need 180 more. So it's
yeah.
So I think I'm right around that mark. I could say over, but around 250. So
I like that. And so now next up is what do we think about passing touchdowns? Game one. I mean, he hasn't thrown a passing touchdown yet in the preseason. So what do we think about game one?
This is a good one. If this ends up being maybe a high scoring game ish, if both teams can, I have him at the over at 2. I think he's going to hit 2 passing touchdowns. If we don't get the rushing game involved when we get into the red zone, I'm going to put him at 2. I want to see what you're going to say about this.
I'm going to go with the under again. Okay. I'm going to go with the under. I think I'm playing the safe bet here. Sure. I look at this game as it's going to end 17-13. I think there's 2 offenses. They're still trying to figure everything out. They have the correct pieces in front of them, but I think it all depends on how these quarterbacks can play, right?
Sure.
And at the end of the day, like the Bears defense is great. The Bears defense is going to really put pressure on Will Levis. And so I think that's going to make it a low scoring game.
Yeah.
Whereas Caleb being a rookie quarterback, right? Against the defense, which is no longer Mike Vrabel, right? If I'm
No, Mike Vrabel's not. Yeah, he's not the head coach anymore.
I think again, it's going to be against a coach who understands it's Caleb's first game. So what is his mindset going to be? Go after the quarterback. Make it as hard as possible for the quarterback to want to enjoy playing football, right? So I think of it as a low-scoring game. I think if we see his first career throwing touchdown, I think it's going to be 1 touchdown. I think the game's going to rely heavily on rushing, whip passes to the side and trying to get DJ Moore as many cut routes as they can. So I would go with the under. I think 1 touchdown is what we see from Caleb tomorrow.
I would not be shocked if we just see 1. It was hard for me to pick 2 just because I'm a greedy Bears fan and I'm hoping I'm hoping he throws 6, but we're not going to have a Mitch Trubisky type of game that he had when he had 6 touchdowns or whatever. But I think maybe 2, hopefully 1. 1 would be awesome. 2 would be amazing. Let's just 3, and obviously more than that would be that would be awesome. It would be more than awesome for that. So
very true.
Now to get into the receivers for the Bears, but we're going to go over obviously just the top receivers with the Bears. So starting with our wide receiver 1, who we paid top dollar for, DJ Moore. His over under is set at 60.5 yards. Dan, what do you got with this?
I'm going the over here. I'm going the over because what I see in the preseason is that's his number 1 target, right? That's his favorite guy. I don't think he targeted any other Bears receiver more than 3 times in any of the preseason games. DJ Moore, he got like 5 receptions in 2 of the games that they played. So I definitely see him going over 60. I don't see him breaking 100. I see him going to the 70 or 80. I think he gets 5 catches tomorrow, or not tomorrow. I think he gets 5 catches on Sunday. That would be my guess. He's the number 1 guy. He's the safety net for Caleb. He knows that he could toss it in the direction he's going to catch it. I think he'll make some insane throws. I think he gets, somewhere between 5 catches, 70 yards.
I just got the over with him as well. I think it's going to be right around maybe 65, 70 yards for DJ Moore. I think he's going to have one big play for maybe 30, 40 yards. Progressively, you can maybe get 5, 10 yards above that. I got him with the over here. I think he will at least get 60. We're hoping for that. I got him right around 70. That's what I really think DJ Moore's sweet spot. If he can get it 100, we'll take 100 out of him. But there's a lot of different receivers on this team now. It's not just DJ Moore anymore, just like last season where he had over 1,000 yards at the end of the season. We have more. Caleb Williams, from what we saw at the preseason, like to spread the wealth a little bit between all the different receivers. So that going on to our next receiver, which is a new addition to the Chicago Bears, which me and you were super excited about, and he even is super excited to be a part of the Bears. He even just said he'll take potentially a pay cut. He said, I don't even want to make $35 million to further my career and be greedy about it. Keenan Allen at 50.5. I'm going to go first on this one. I think Keenan Allen is going to go under here. I'm going to take the under on Keenan Allen. Reason why is just with the preseason games, I didn't see him involved that much. He didn't get that many catches. Obviously, I hate to base it off the preseason games, but I'm going to take Keenan Allen. If I took a guess right at where he'll be at, I'd say around 40 or 45 yards. I think he's going to go under 50. Obviously, we all hope that he goes over, but if I had to throw money on it, I would go under. How about you?
I'm going to go the over. I think 50 is perfect. I think I can see him getting 50 yards immediately in this game. I think 50 yards is exactly where I see it. I think he gets like 3-4 catches. I do see 55 yards, so I'm going to take the over a little bit. I think what is challenging me with this is that I have a feeling that Keenan's going to be the touchdown recipient of Caleb Williams' first career touchdown pass. I just think that his route running, and especially in the slot, I think what's going to happen is that the Bears are going to be at the 5-yard line, and then he's not going to rush it. He's going to have no choice but to give it to the best route runner in the NFL. Or maybe not the best, but I mean, the guy's historically one of the best. So I think he's going to give it to that guy for an easy touchdown, easy layup. And so I do believe that he's going to get a lot of his yardage in the short run, in the slot. So maybe 55 yards, but I think Keenan Allen does get the touchdown on Sunday.
Yeah. That's a good prediction. Keenan Allen, just him like breaking space just right at the line of scrimmage. He is a great player, throw a 5-yard pass to. And I could see if we're at the 5, going in shotgun, I could see Keenan Allen getting that. It's a good prediction, for Caleb Williams' first touchdown. So now moving into our rookie wide receiver.
I think we all know who we're going to talk about. Yeah. We all are
super excited to get. And he was just a great addition to Hard Knocks. He just brings that energy. He's just always happy. Is Rome Odunze, and he is set currently at 43.5. I'm going to go to you with this one first, Dan. Who do you think?
Unfortunately, I'm taking the under, right? I love this player. I think it's as we saw in Hard Knocks, we saw a lot of his character. We didn't see a lot of his play, meaning the big plays in the, in just the effort in playing practice games. So I think he's fine. I think he has quite a connection with Caleb. I think my biggest worry is that it's his first game. So these safeties, these corners are going to be ripping him apart. And so I wouldn't blame him if he doesn't play more than 50% of snaps. I think he plays, somewhere between like 40%, 45% mixed with Tyler Scott, which again, Tyler Scott, that's another good player. So I think Tyler Scott gets a couple deep throws, sent to him. Maybe he catches 1 or 2. So unfortunately, I'm going under with Rome. I think this is going to sound crazy. I think Rome gets 1 or 2 catches on Sunday. I think maybe he has, 20 to 30 yards. I just think it's, again, one of those rookie connections that the Titans defense is telling everyone, let's make sure let's make it hard. Let's make it hard on him. Don't let him get a single catch. So unfortunately, I'm going with the under on him.
I am also going with the under as well. I love Rome Odunze. I was watching, with the Hard Knocks and him, practicing with Jalen Johnson. I was actually going to take the over. I just thought he would smoke some of these corners right off the line of scrimmage and stuff. It is the first game with a rookie quarterback, first game with a rookie receiver. I feel like you said, I think 2 catches maybe. He gets right around 40 yards. That's going to be my guess. I think he'll get right around 40. Maybe that would be the over. I was about to say 45, but that would be the over. But I think he gets right around 40, 38 or 40 yards for his first, game as a Bear. Obviously, like we said before, hoping for that over. But we'll just, I think Rome, it's his first game. And,
it's not a disappointment, right? It's just the fact that it's his first game, right? You can't have major expectations, but 43.5, I think it's a perfect number. I'm going to stick with the middle or even the under, so that's perfectly fine with me. This next player, I think everyone's really excited to talk about because he was every quarterback safety net that ever played for our team, right? Cole Kmet. This guy was probably the most dynamic player and catcher that we've had like each season. Like this guy
Yeah.
truly has always been there for as a safety net, and he's caught touchdowns, he's got long passes, one-handed catches. This guy is a professional, and so I'm going to take the over on 22.5. I think he is this team's safety net, the same way DJ Moore is. I think he's going to be open. I think the Titans don't have the biggest names at safety, and I think Cole Kmet is again going to make those strides when it comes past the hash marks on the side. So I think he gets the over on 22 yards. I think he gets that on one catch on Sunday. So I'm going with maybe 3-4 catches. I think he gets 50 yards.
I'm hitting the over as well. I think this is set pretty low for Cole Kmet. I looked at the line and I was like, this, like, are they like, do they have the
joking?
right player next to him?
Yeah.
Because Cole Kmet last year, obviously was a big target for Fields because he has great route running capabilities. And I think Cole Kmet on Sunday can get right around 40, 50 yards. I think he'll get around 40, 42 yards if I took a wild guess, if I threw money on it. But I think he'll be open if he needs a target, Caleb needs a target, Cole Kmet will be open. He'll throw it to him, just like the first preseason game we saw. Threw that 25-yard pass to Cole Kmet. That's already the over right there. Mm-hmm. So I think that'll be it for Cole Kmet.
Yeah. I think that's totally true. And Cole Kmet could also be the touchdown recipient. We don't really know, but I think he's again one of those safety nets that really extreme route runner, big body. So I think he can definitely catch those type of close range passes. Who we got next?
All right, the last player we're going to take on receiving yards. Obviously, not a receiver, but he is a new addition for the Bears. He kind of does have that receiving capabilities where he can explode off a screen pass, and that would be DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift is currently set as receiving 12.5. I actually think this is low. I'm going to go over. I think it could take one screen pass where the defense doesn't even know what's going on with the Titans, and he can get 20 yards. I'm going to take the over on this, and especially if Shane Waldron sees that works once, even for 8 yards, he might do it later on the game for second time, and he'll get another 8 yards. So that's already the over. That'd be like 16. I'm going to take the over on DeAndre Swift. That's why we got him, for the pass threat, for pass catch threat capability with the Bears. That's the main reason why we got DeAndre Swift, and I'm going to take the over on that.
Definitely. I agree with you. The over. I mean, 12 yards, right? So even going the under is just kind of ridiculous. You take the over on this one. He is a stud, and he is someone that's going to get more yards after carry and after catch. I think the main thing I think about is Caleb is going to have to go through his progressions a couple times, right? Being his first NFL games, he's going to have to go through every person on the field, every field division, go through every progression. And there's going to be some times where he goes through the first 4 options and he's going to have to go to his 5th option, which is DeAndre Swift making a cut, right? Like being there as a dump off. So I think he gets that. I think being a rookie's first game, we've seen that a lot happen. And speaking in fantasy football terms, which we've had our draft recently, you like to target running backs that have rookie quarterbacks because you understand that's the main safety net. When they're leading to the last progression, rookie quarterbacks don't like to throw the ball out. They don't like to throw it out of bounds. They like to make those random little passes to the running back. And whether you have a pass-catching running back or not, they're going to try to make those catches.
Especially Caleb, we saw in the preseason game.
Yeah.
He did not – that was the last thing he wanted to do was throw the ball. You remember him scrambling, and he found Odunze in the end zone, but he did step out of bounds. Caleb wants to make those plays. He doesn't want to be the person to always just throw it away. And that's what Swift will be there. What if he just can't get it? Swift to catch it. Get about 15 yards. That's already the over.
I'm not saying Swift is going to get 50 yards. I think he gets 20 yards. I think he gets 20 yards. It's not much over the over for 12, but I think it's 20 yards. I think it's 2 catches. Simple enough that Caleb's going to read his progressions and he's going to understand that last person is the person who needs to catch the ball rather than throw it out of bounds, right? So I think that's what they're going to get for. But next on the list, that's it for receivers. We're on to the rushing room, right? The running back room here, which is pretty interesting. Obviously, last year the Bears led for the most rushing yards per game, and I wouldn't be surprised if that didn't happen. So I think this year might digress a little bit, having a quality throwing arm. We also had Justin Fields last season, right? So I think this year with the rushing, let's start right back with the player we just talked about. What do you think is DeAndre Swift's rushing? What do you take for the over under here with 43.5 yards?
DeAndre Swift over under 43.5. I actually think this is a low mark for him. I thought DeAndre Swift was an amazing back with the Eagles. Obviously, their offensive line was crazy. Bears' offensive line is improving. I do think he's going to take the over. I got it right around 50, 60 yards rushing for DeAndre Swift if I took a guess. I think, Swift will try, if I don't think that I know people are saying that they're going to use Khalil Herbert a lot. We'll see if they're going to use it like a dual threat running back. We don't really know, but we did pay DeAndre Swift the money to be on the team. Khalil Herbert's still under that, the smaller contract.
Mhm.
I do think Swift will see a lot of, rushing unless he's gassy, he needs a break. I got him right around 50 yards. I'm going to take the over on DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, I think again, I think a lot of these numbers are perfect because again, these are the numbers that Vegas picks, but I think I'll take the under on 43.5. I think what happens is the defensive coaching staff tells them we need to make them one dimensional and we need to see Caleb throw this ball. Right?
Mm-hmm.
How good is Caleb actually? How scared can we make him? Because obviously when you want to make a quarterback scared, you tell him you got to make these hard passes, right? You got to make you got to make these receivers make these hard catches. So I think he's under. Would it be crazy to say 40, right? 40 yards, right? So three yards under. I think that's exactly what happens. I think he gets 8 to 10 rushes, but also splits it with Khalil and then so with Roshan. I think it depends a lot on this next player we're going to talk about on how many rushing yards or rushing attempts he gets, which go ahead, Tyler, take it away on who we see is next here.
Yeah, so obviously the next player we're going to talk about is the new quarterback under center. We saw him at USC, sprint out of the pocket, rush a little bit. He obviously is people are talking about he's got that Mahomes type of material where if he needs to rush, he will. But he's not like, the fastest quarterback in the world, but he also isn't the slowest quarterback in the world. And obviously we're talking about, good old Caleb Williams. His over-under right now is currently set at 18.5. If I took a guess, I'm going to pick the under. I don't think he's going to run. I don't think he wants to get injured. If he needs to make the play, he did. I know in one of the preseason games, he did scramble. I forgot how many yards that was. I think that was like 12 if I took a wild guess. But I do think he is going to look to pass it more than try to rush it. If he needs to rush it, he will. But if I took a guess, he'll get right around 12 to 15 rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to look to throw. It's his first game. He wants to make those bigger plays instead of the rushing plays. Maybe he'll rush into the end zone, but it might be only 8 yards. I'm going to take the under with this one.
The under. I totally understand where you're coming from. I'm going to take the over just for fun. Okay. So I think the over makes sense. I think we could talk about it being a rookie's first game, blah, blah, blah. So many simple facts, right? Rookie's first game, they're going to make decisions that veteran quarterbacks don't make all the time. So I think he's going to rush the ball quite often. I think he gets 3 or 4 rushes. I think he could hit 40 yards. I think he could get one good long run, and it being one of those things that the Titans defense just didn't prepare for, right? He's got smart legs. The guy is smart with his feet. He's light on his feet, so he's going to try to evade the pocket. And I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to try to hit him from the defensive line. I think he makes a good few adjustments, and then he goes for a couple rushes. So I like the idea of him getting a rushing touchdown. I think as Bears fans, we're used to that. I want to see him throw it. I want to see him throw for some touchdowns. So a rushing touchdown, not out of the picture. I think that makes total sense. But with that being the second rusher on this team, that's probably the most exciting rusher that we're going to talk about. I think next up we can go to the RB2. We got Khalil Herbert here. His name, he kicked ass last year. He played really well. And I was super impressed with the way he played. I'm also impressed with the way Roshan is, but unfortunately, we're not going to really talk much about Roshan because we don't know what his limit is. Yeah. First game, right? Let's give him a chance. Maybe there's a lot of other times for him to shine. Khalil Herbert, though, 29.5 rushing yards. I think it's fair. I think he goes under, unfortunately. I think this is a low-scoring game. I don't think he gets the ball as often as we think he is. And as well as Caleb, I think Caleb's just going to, dominate a couple of the rushes, get a lot of the passes going. I think DeAndre Swift is going to be the lead guy for most of this game.
I agree. I think Khalil Herbert, I'm going to take the under with him as well. I think he's a great back. I like Khalil Herbert a lot. I've liked him the last few years on the Bears. But I just think DeAndre Swift is going to take advantage of those opportunities that he has. I think, and then obviously what I'm predicting is that when Khalil Herbert does get the opportunity, he's only going to get maybe like 1 to 2 yards if I took a wild guess. And Shane Waldron's going to be like, okay, Swift did a little bit better. Let's put him back in. So I think he'll go probably under I'm getting him right around 20, 25 yards to rush for the Bears. I think he'll, I don't think he's going to split the backfield with Swift. I think Swift will probably get maybe 75% of the carries. Khalil Herbert takes about 25%, but who knows? Maybe, Swift gets a little gassed and they give it
to things could change
for maybe an inning or inning. Oh my gosh, I'm talking about a quarter. Wow. I just watched, thinking of the Cubs last night with that combined no hitter. I was like, why was I thinking about, baseball? But But yeah, I really do think right a little bit of the under, but always hoping for that over. But
And actually, just got a notification right now, Tyler. I'm sure if you looked at your phone, you got it as well.
hmm.
Some pretty interesting news for Caleb Williams. USC officially retires Caleb Williams' number. So
Whoa,
Caleb Williams, number 13, has officially been honored by the
wow!
Trojans
I
forever.
I
Forever.
didn't even see that until you wow. But
Yes,
yeah,
that's a big deal.
th-
I mean, I think that's gonna be that's a lot of just good news for him, especially going into his first game. I think he's gonna be really excited about that, and I think there's gonna be a lot of
yeah,
USC fans here at this Bears game, right? I mean,
yeah.
there's probably a lot of followers he's got. So
That's super cool for Caleb Williams. I really do think that this is a cool honor by him, being able to, uh, what's it called, make it, have his number retired. Uh, it
everyone's
clearly
dream.
shows, clearly shows that he did do, very well with, USC, and they wanted to honor him by that, which is super sweet. So I'm really, really happy
Yeah,
about
and
that.
he was only there for 2 years. Think about how much
Yeah.
work he had to put in to only be there for 2 years. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, cool, man. So I think that's pretty much wrapping up everything we discussed. All of Hard Knocks. We discussed Week 1 preview with the Bears Sunday at noon in Chicago against the Titans. I know me and you are been beyond excited for the previous months, ever since the schedule came out. Since Caleb got drafted, since we got all these new pieces, Keenan, Rome, Byard, all these new pieces with the Bears. It's going to be a fun time with Bears football and Chicago sports,
Mhm.
and this will be a fun Sunday to see. We're rooting for the best with the Bears. We want them to do the best, and it'll be a fun day.
Chicago, I will say this isn't our first time. It's not our first time watching a rookie quarterback week 1.
Mm.
We've had a lot of instances of watching just rookie quarterbacks, but gosh, are we excited because this feels different. This
I
feels like a
agree.
different pace, and we're not playing the Packers. We're not playing a team that's out to kill us each year. But the Titans, they're a good matchup for us, and I think that they're going to show us a lot of what we can do and what we can't do yet. So I'm very excited about this opportunity. And Tyler, I can't wait to see you, buddy.
Dude,
It's been a few weeks, so I'm excited to
it's
see
gonna be
you.
it's gonna be a fun Sunday with everyone watching
Oh
the
yeah.
game. We're gonna have lots of yummy food. We're gonna be watching, drinking some beers, having a good day. Watching all the football.
Mhm.
Starting obviously strictly Bears at noon. Now I'm gonna be watching all the rest of the games. Fantasy football it's back. I'm in 3 leagues this year, so it's a lot of different players that I got to keep my eye on and stuff. And it's just going to be a fun Sunday. Bears football is finally back. NFL is finally back starting today. It's going to be electric. It's, week 1 is always so much fun to see how these players are going to, adapt to their new teams, adapt to it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. We waited quite a while for this, Tyler. Let me be honest, like months. But also years. We've waited years for this kind of excitement. So it's right here. It's right around the corner.
We are less than 3 days away for
Less
Bears
than 3
kickoff.
days. Yeah.
Less than 2 days.
Yeah.
Well, we always appreciate everyone tuning in, to D&T and the 773. We're going to try to come back every week if we can, if we got the time, which obviously we've been trying to work it out. We've been letting the preseason games play out because there's only so much we can talk about the preseason. Regular season is finally back. We're going to continue, talking every week. We're going to recap these games, go into the next, talk about what the players did, go into the next week. And also once all these other Chicago sports kick off, we're going to, try to, include those as well. Hopefully when the Bulls come back, see how the Blackhawks do. We might try to incorporate them, but it's, exciting time for Chicago sports. And it's exciting time to be obviously a Bears fan.
Indeed. So. And today's actually the day that the Bulls signed Taylor Horton Tucker. So, Chicago kid. That's actually pretty exciting, like for a big day for Chicago, but
yeah. It is Bear Down o'clock on Sunday. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Thanks so much. We'll keep you guys up to date with when we're going to be, going live next. We'll be letting you guys know. And we always appreciate all the views, all the listens. We'll be on, YouTube. We'll be on Spotify. So you guys can tune in. However, give us, obviously you guys can comment as well. Give us, your opinions on things. Tell us, what we can do to improve. We're obviously, looking, like I tell people, it would be awesome if we can get, millions of views, but I just do this to talk about sports because I love the Bears.
Exactly.
I love Chicago sports so much. Even if I have 2 people watching, I just love talking about it, and we appreciate everything that you guys do. So,
and as you guys may know, Todd and I have been doing this for a few years now, so this is just the norm. This is the way we like to do it. This is the way things are done, but please give us advice on what we can do better. And also tell us where you're from. Tell us if we got any interesting people that are from other cities. rooting for other teams, or if they have any resources on things to help us talk about our team, just let us know. We really appreciate you guys, and yeah, let us know in the comments what we can do.
Sweet. All right. Appreciate you tuning in, Dan. I'll see you on Sunday, and
See you on
always
Sunday.
bear down.
Bear down. See ya.